You know, I'm Challenger, I have no life, and I'm Asian, so I probably can get rank 1. Previously on Dragon Balls in My Mouth, we were at 441 LP. Then in the next game we play Elise. Now Dyrus gave me a plan. He said try and camp top lane and mid lane. I kind of agreed, but my jungle path didn't agree because I always start top side so that my bottom lane can do the golems or grump. And I did gank bot lane and I got both flashes, but it is a Janna and Varus lane and you can't really kill Soraka with someone who doesn't have ignite, so you know, it is good to camp the top lane and mid lane. Although I definitely could have camped top lane. I couldn't really kill the mid lane because I think Cutie Pie kept pushing in the mid lane, at least every time I saw. So that was out of the table. But yeah, let's just say, bot lane kind of got dumpstered on even though they had no flashes and they got Divin 2v2. I didn't do too much work in the top lane or mid lane, but I was also trying to counter jungle because I always kept seeing the other person on the opposite side of the map where I wanted to counter jungle. So that's what I was doing, but I definitely should have tried camping top lane a little bit more and emphasizing that fact. And we are still on tilt from the 4 games of the beginning. It's not a good thing and there's no way to get past it. I just have to play through it. So there goes 4 losses in a row if you're including games from the last video. Next game I play Graves and look at this gank. It works. Don't ask how because I don't know how, and he just dies straight up from a lane gank, which, you know, I was not planning on it to work, to be honest, but it works, I guess. But it's probably the lamest gank you've ever seen, and I'm glad I showed it. And here's right here, I'm getting aggressive on the Shen, but then I go really aggressive on the Nivea because I don't feel like she'll expect it, so she can't land a stun on me. Also, I knew Victor would follow up on this little counter jungle, so that's why I knew it was a good idea. Anyways, the next few kills are like the super lamest kills I've ever done. Like, I guess right here, GP thought I didn't have my ultimate anymore, so he just like walked in lane, but didn't realize he could die from my ult. I don't know. And I get 2 kills for 1, which is pretty good. I'm not sure if it was worth because I did get shut down, but I think it was good because I brung 3 people top. And mind you, I was a bit scared of this game because Cutie Pie was actually going AP Lucian, aka he had AP runes and Deathfire Touch from the last game. Also, we had a York support, but you know, I didn't want to dodge because our team was like decent, but I didn't know he actually had AP runes, and I guess I trusted them in a bit. They actually did pretty good, but like I got mid lane really fed, and he just kind of like carried. And right here, I'm just setting up for a preemptive strike on the enemy team, but I fuck up. I don't know, like, to be honest, thinking about it right now, there was a combo in my head where I was actually legit confused on what came first, so I pressed E first forward, and at that point I was spamming my ultimate to try and get out. But yeah, I'm gonna be honest here, I actually forgot what the Graves combo was in that, like, scenario, and that's why I actually dashed into the enemy team. But it doesn't really matter, my team is just too far ahead, and we win the game off that. See, look, I did pretty well, even though I just lost 4 games in a row before this game. The thing is, I get frustrated at the mistakes I make, and it really inspires me to never make them again. You know, people can go and tilt after a 4 loss streak, but losses to me, they inspire me to win. That's the gambling mentality. A very bad mentality, but the opposite and very different of many people who play this game. I actually said in one of my tip videos a very long time ago, you should stop after 4 or 5 losses. Actually, I don't know if I said that, but if I did say it, it's good advice to the general public. But if you're retarded like me, you probably won't have the same mindset as the average person. You're gonna have a very different one, you know. People get mad and annoyed at things, easily and make irrational decisions. I do get annoyed, but I don't let that affect my decision making, and honestly, that's what this game is. Also, I made a video a while back where I said I don't tilt. In that video, I said I may be tilting without even knowing it, but the thing is, since I'm in denial all the time, it won't affect me as much. People can think I'm tilting, but I don't think I'm tilting, so I'm not going to be tilting. If I lose 20 games in a row, I'm not tilting, I just suck at this game. You know, how about this? If you say you're on tilt and you lost because you were on tilt, maybe you're just making an excuse for yourself for sucking ass. That's what I say whenever I tilt. I just say, you fucking suck to myself. And then my left brain says, I don't want to suck anymore, I want to get better. Do you want to know how to get better at this game? You play a lot of games or you study. You know, after that 4v5 game a while back where I raged, that was actually a change of mindset. That's actually where you could say I was on tilt after that game, even though I did better. But I call it tilt because I'm not making the same decisions as I once did. I'm making different decisions, being more greedy, making aggressive plays. It worked, kind of. Then I kind of realized when I should use that playstyle and the carry me playstyle, and I should basically be more greedy if I have diamond 1s or whatever on my team, because they won't carry me, they'll throw if I give them a lead, and if I have master or challenger players in my team, I can play the carry me playstyle, which is what you're supposed to do if you have really good mid laners or top laners or ADCs, just because they're usually the ones building more damage than you are, and to the people who have the most damage on a team, that's going to be your carry, and they're the ones who have all the power to win the game. That's why Kha'Zix is a really good carry jungler, and I've been trying to play him. You can see it in my other games, but I can't do it, man. There's better Kha'Zix players out there that I'll never be as good as, so I try to stick to what I'm good at. I do have Hecarim, which is my pocket pick for carrying, but then I usually default to Zac if I see my team is actually really good. The players, not the champions. Anyways, I fucking just threw the game because I got so cocky and I did so many stupid plays, and one thing I didn't realize was that my team actually falls off in the late game, so fucking around definitely lost me this game. I knew this was an easy win, but I just threw because I wanted to dick around. In the next game, I'll play Graves, and you can see I'm doing quite good in early game. But later on, I get my ass carried, and all I remember was Lee Sin maybe had a good KDA, but for some reason, I thought he was stupid for some reason. I don't actually know why. Like, this is how I make my commentary. I remember what I was thinking from the games. For some reason, the memory from this game says that Lee Sin was an idiot, and I did better than him in the early game, and that's all I can remember from this game for some reason. I think it was because I kept pressuring him, but I don't know, he felt weaker than me at all points of the game, even when I'm like feeding as hell. Anyways, I'm not going to talk about that game because it's a weird memory, and I'm not quite sure why I thought he was an idiot. He is a top lane main though, I'll give him that. Oh, and when I say idiot, I just mean like I felt like I was doing more jungle pressure than he was. Next game, I play Soraka, and I'm trying to do the feed to win tactic where I just suicide. I also thought the enemy team would open mid, so I trolled a bit, and then all of a sudden I'm on the phone because it was a very important call, and I was like basically on super autopilot, which is like 20% of full potential, where I'm just not in the game at all. So I'm just following my team around while speaking on the phone, not really giving a shit because I thought the game was over. At the same time, it was also an important call. And finally, I'm off the phone after 7 minutes, and I'm like, wait, what's going on? Us two go bot? What? Okay. But I actually have like zero idea of how the game is going, and so what I'm doing is basically following my team, and you can see our Nidalee gets caught out by a bunch of people, and my team is like, holy shit, they're on like some fucking surrender hardcore vote, and I'm just like, what the fuck has been happening for the past 7 minutes? Apparently everyone just started getting like rowdy and arguing with each other, and I was like, what the fuck triggered everyone? It was so weird. Everyone's just so annoyed and tilted, and I'm just like here thinking like, what happened? How come we haven't won yet? And then everyone's like blaming another, and it's just like no one is in the mood of winning, like because they're so annoyed with each other that they just want to give up. And it's like, holy shit, this is actually so annoying. You guys are fucking stupid. I still want to win. I don't give a shit about your little like tilty feuds, whatever. You can call each other like idiots, but like at least try and win, not give up. And I'll be honest here, if people get frustrated at like, you know, teammates and don't want to win because of their teammates, that's so immature. Like, fuck, who honestly gives a shit about what your teammates say or what you think of each other? Because there's honestly bigger problems than your shitty Soraka or whatever. Like, you know, I've flamed people and they flame me back, but in the next game, I honestly don't give a shit about that person. I'm just like, let's win. Like, I ain't got no time for this argument that doesn't mean shit. I just want to play some games. But yeah, my team just tilted off the face of the earth where they just didn't want to win anymore and didn't want to play. And I was like, this game was definitely winnable after we threw, but no one wanted to do anything. It was the Jhin, Nidalee, and the top lane who had their little argument fiasco. I talked to the Twisted Fate after, and he said that the whole thing was just immaturity, and it was just stupid. It was definitely winnable. And then in this game, you can see this happen, and yeah, basically Lucian got a quadra kill and was already legendary at 12 minutes, so, you know, he just went off, and I never let him die. But I did die for him, so that's a good thing. In the next game, I play Elise, and this happens where I go in repel mode and I still die from the tower. And this used to actually never happen, but they changed like this one thing on a repel. And it used to be like whenever you use your repel, you would go invulnerable, but now there's like a time window where your vulnerability kicks in. And if projectiles hit you before that invulnerability time window hits, you get hit. and die. And you know, I saw this stupid comment where people said this is the same thing that happens to Fizz. No. Although I think this should be the same thing like Fizz, because this shit happens too often to me. And now you can see we're taking the inhibitor at 18 minutes and 30 seconds. I ignored the Lee Sin to get the tower because, well, I feel like he's not that useful. And I fuck up because I actually could have repelled to the minion over there, but I didn't see that. And yeah, obviously we could have backed at the tower because people were coming up. But it was one of those greedy plays that, well, I didn't really give a shit too much about because this game's kind of over. Oh, actually, remember I was talking shit about the Lee Sin? I think it was actually this game where I felt like he was useless, and the other game, maybe I just got confused with the two Lee Sins, but this one didn't really know how to jungle, in my opinion. There were so many mistakes he made in the early game, but yeah, basically I just took advantage of his mistakes and so did other people, and he wasn't really too useful throughout the game. The next game I played Janna, but you may be wondering why am I playing Janna and not Soraka? That's because she was banned, yes. Now this play is actually pretty interesting because it tests my reaction skills. You'll see how bad or good my reaction is, and it's pretty bad. I thought about LeBlanc doing something like that, and my trigger finger was on my flash key, but it was just so slow. What the hell? What can I say? She was too fast, too furious. Also right here, I'm not sure if I should have used my ultimate because Zac didn't get his E off, but you know, I was trying to save Aurelia, but she dies anyways, and now yeah, I'd say it was a bad ult. But also, we sort of trade evenly. 1 for 1, and then it's 2 for 2, and then it's about to be 3 for 3. What did I do that team fight? I fucked it up, kind of. But you know, for next time when I see a Zac E-ing in, that means I'm not going to use my ultimate and let him land that first before doing my ultimate. But the thing is, I don't play Janna too often, so it honestly doesn't matter too much, but that's something I'll take note for future reference. And that's how you learn to play champions. You learn from your mistakes. You don't learn by saying stupid fucking teammates, you learn by saying stupid fucking me. Blame only yourself and you can only get better. So talking about the ult I used earlier, it was probably not necessary, but I did want to CC to LeBlanc from basically killing my team, and I think it was not necessary because my team didn't seem to take too much damage from her first initial W, but she is super fed, so I assumed she would do more damage. Maybe my team is just tanky and has magic resist. Now right here my team is trying to do a little pick, but that bush was actually warded. And I see the Lissandra Claw is coming in, so once she appears, I want to use my ultimate to prevent my team from like dying. And it does delay her from using her ultimate. As you can see, it has not been used until right about now. So I think it was good, but of course it didn't really heal my teammates too much. If you also look earlier, I set up a tornado to actually knock back the Warwick when he ulted, but that was a little unintentional. And you might be wondering, what are you building? Well, you know, I was having some fun, but also, you're probably looking at the Eye of Oasis instead of like the Spell Thieves. I hate going Spell Thieves on Janna. That item makes me want to go aggressive, and you know, I'm more of a passive player because that's how you get carried. But every time I have a Frostfang or whatever, I always want to go aggressive, even if it's out of lane and it involves me getting caught. Now on the next game, I play Elise, and you can see I'm doing quite well for myself in the early game, and my team is as well. Also, they have a Rise on their team, free win. Until he does this, then free loss. Now somewhere into the future, nothing has really happened involving me, but then they start to do Baron. At least that's what I think, but then Ezreal ult says they're not doing it, and I'm like, oh shit, I just walked into a death trap. So I immediately flash, but the enemy team has like a lot of gap closers, and I'm basically dead. Now the mistake here was honestly just walking towards the Baron after the Baron was scouted out, and that is a weird mistake I made. For some reason in my head, I wasn't really alerted of like maybe the enemy might be setting up a flank. My mind was actually dead set on them just doing the Baron, trying to rush it, but apparently they didn't do that, and I was like, oh. So I kind of got a little caught off guard. But anyways, we make some picks for ourselves and we actually get the Baron off it. And now this is actually where it kind of gets interesting. You can see what I want to do is poke down the tower, and we have Baron buffs, so you know, usually these sieges actually work out pretty well, but we overstay a little too much as they also have poke as well. And now the enemy team, they want to engage onto us. So we're on the retreat because we don't want to fight. We're low as fuck while the enemy team, but they're also coming from their base. And yeah, we actually lose the team fight surprisingly, but Aurelia had teleported on our flank at full hit points, so I guess if we are all pretty low or even half hit point and there's a chance of the enemy like teleporting or initiating, we should probably back off even with the Baron buff. Although usually whenever I do this, we always get the tower and we do a bunch of rotations, but this is a unique situation and I learned something off it. Anyways, right here is just another team fight that went well for us because we got a pick on Nami at the start, so she didn't use any of her abilities. Ari did die, but one big thing that came out of this team fight is we got the Aurelia, who is super fed, has a GA, and is super scary. She even almost kills this Olaf, but luckily, he is too tanky. Anyways, we do get Baron off this, and we try to do the siege in the top lane, and we kind of can, but we only get this tower, and since Olaf had died to a gank from Aurelia and Rek'Sai, we can't really go into this anymore. And now, something that comes to mind is basically, our Tahm Kench, aka Liquid Matt, says we should just set up for the Elder Dragon. We can't siege anymore because it's too scary for us, I guess. So I thought this was an interesting point. I mean, we definitely can't do anything with Olaf being dead. We don't want to fight a 4v5, that's a risk that no one wants to take. But you can see that Ahri is trying to poke the enemy team, which is fine because we don't really want to commit to the Elder Dragon. It's too beefy and we just want to fight the enemy out and about and not in their base. You may be wondering, why do I have Protobell? Well, I don't actually know why. I think I want to do a little bit more damage, but yeah, this team fight, basically I want to zone the Rise out, I want to land any sort of CC, and I die. But luckily, I do have a Guardian Angel, so I am coming back up. And I also have my Flash, so it's time to use that on someone I feel like I can get a kill on, which is going to be this Jhin. I know I have a lot of damage, so he's going to be my first target, and then it's going to be the Rise who's already dead, then it's going to be the Rek'Sai, and you can see this is a full ace, so we win the game. Something I learned is setting up for the Elder Dragon is actually a strategy instead of just sieging, so maybe I might incorporate that into some late game calls. Now this Zac game, you can see I have a new shirt, which means a new day, and my first 3 games are gonna be shit. Luckily in this game, I have not done anything for the past 5 minutes, but somehow my team already has 5 kills. Now this gank is actually super fucking good, but I was thinking for a close-up E and to like surprise her and basically get the Yasuo ultimate, but she late jukes me onto a minion and I die, but luckily I have my Zac passive and Yasuo tanks a few shots from the tower, so I don't die. Also, this gank was actually pretty good because I saw the Nidalee in the bot lane, so there's no way she could have countered it, and yes, this gank actually went perfectly. Except for my E. Now this time I'm like coming from the bush, but then she jukes me again, so I just pop my ultimate and Yasuo gets his ultimate down, but now she's cutting us on the minions and I'm just waiting for Yasuo to tank because I'm a bit scared. Then he doesn't want to tank and then now we're both kind of in like a sticky situation. Finally, I do tank the full tankage and I do die, but yeah, it was basically a clusterfuck. Thankfully, Nidalee wasn't around, and also, Aurelia is denied a big creep wave. This Aurelia has cucked me quite a bit, and that's why I want to do the close-up E, where she can't really juke it, and it's really hard to find it coming. But she's also too mobile for me. Now, you guys are probably wondering and being like, yeah, what? You don't tilt after the first 3 games? What's wrong with you? You got bullshit in your mouth. Have you seen those ganks I just did? They were godlike awful. I've missed my E 3 times, and if this game hadn't been going so good, those could be crucial to some ganks. Oh wait, let's make that 4. Yeah, you could say I'm doing good this game. I could say that too if I wanted to, like fool you guys, but I'm not. I'm performing like shit. My teammates are doing good. I'm supposedly doing good, but not really. I'm just playing Zac, a champion who you don't really have to do anything on, but you can still win with. I mean, right here is a thought I had with Yasuo where we thought we could 2v4, to be honest. He actually gets a nice ultimate. Well, not really. But I don't have my ultimate as well, and we thought we could 2v4 because we're so ahead. I mean, if you look at the score, we kind of could, but we don't really have any damage. At least our team is doing something in the bot lane, and we definitely thought we had more damage. So finally we say, fuck it, this shit, let's get the Baron, and you can see a lot of people are in the bot lane, and it doesn't seem like they know that we're actually doing the Baron, until a little bit later when it's really low. The thing is, I also forgot about Tahm Kench using his ultimate to come here, since they were so far away. It had not really popped in my mind. But yeah, we're now in a 3v4, potentially 5 situation, although Diana's bot lane with the Echo, so, Echo also dies. But in the end, I will say the Baron call, even though we did get it, was pretty unnecessary. We could have, done some grouping, sieging, done some prep work for the Baron, but unfortunately, we just got collapsed on and we couldn't get away. Now the enemy team tries to engage on us 3v4, but our teammates are actually around. I get a nice E onto the Aurelia and Vayne, but Yasuo does not have his ultimate. And you can see, I'm not going for the back line, I'm trying to peel for my front line. This way I just don't suicide in the back line and die for free, while my team can focus whoever is in front of me, since I am their meat shield. So yeah, that happens and we get 2 inhibitors, and then a team fight erupts. Echo almost dies, but he gets a shield, and he also dodges an Italy spear. Now, I don't need to peel here because Diana is already dead, and I'm just trying to get as much kills as I can, so I'm trying to CC everyone who's trying to get away to set up for my team to pick them off, since the team fight is over and I can finally dive on the back line if we have won the team fight. You can also dive on the back line if you're trying to initiate, of course. But usually you want to peel if you can. Anyways, that's going to be that game. And you can see in the next game, I'm playing Soraka, but then this happens and I get fucked. I try and zone her off with me, but the enemy team has a lot of follow-up and I die. But you can see the game is not looking too hot in the late game, and this Annie is just going off and killing everyone and being like, super impactful on that enemy team. And I actually blame myself for that one kill where she got in the bot lane. I should know that Annie is a roamer. She likes to roam bot lane for those free double kills, and I should have played more safe, but instead I went aggressive for the wards. And my team's fighting, blah blah blah. Annie roamed the mid laner, etc. So I think if I didn't die in that bush, I feel like this game could have been different, but yeah, there's just things I don't really pay attention to in my first 3 games. My tilty games. I don't tilt after those 3 games though. But yeah, we lose this game because stuff happened. I'm sad, you're sad, but that's going to be the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. There actually is no preview because I don't have any footage anymore, so I gotta get that footage. But if you guys did like this video, make sure to leave a like, and if you didn't, make sure to subscribe. Anyways, I am Panzer Dragon, and I'll see you guys next time.